to bed empty hunger.
To the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's law.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
It's a new Monday, Money Making Monday. You're welcome to VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. Today is also the 11th day in the month of November 2024. I am Fina Okechukwu. And we have a quite interesting topic for us to look at this morning. We've been talking about this new tax bill that the presidency is projecting. But some people are saying that this new tax bill will shake up revenue collection, NUPRC, custom, others might be out. And just stick to your screen because we have details of this coming your way this morning.
All right, good morning and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning. I am Chukwuma Okoro. Away from the tax issue, the military has raised alarm that terrorists have launched huge online recruitment for followers. What is it?
Well, first it was 1 million naira being given to youths in an area to join, and then now it's online. Now, if the terrorists themselves are using the online space, then what is government doing? Anyway, we'll talk about this and more in the course of the program. Do well to follow. It's Voice of the People TV on YouTube and on other social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Now let's get into some of the conversations before we touch on the papers. All right, let's look at some of the conversations around the nation. Well, the president left Nigeria yesterday and he arrived Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to attend the Joint Arab-Islamic Summit. Now, this is set to begin today, Monday, 11th of November. And the summit is hosted by King Salman and the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And it will focus on current issues in the Middle East. Well, Nigeria, some would ask, why? What is Nigeria doing there? Because when you look at the countries that participate in this summit, they're majorly Islamic nations. Well, Nigeria has about 45 to 50% Muslims, so it qualifies to be part of this. And when Nigeria first joined this in 1986 as an observer nation, there was this outcry as to why would Nigeria be part of this? Is Nigeria an Islamic nation? Blah, blah, blah. All of that went on, but 10 years later, we became full members and not just observers, and that has remained. Well, another, because, I was trying to understand why we will be part of this, but, you did say something at some time back that Nigeria likes to go cap in hand begging anywhere there is money to get. Anywhere there is funds to be disbursed, Nigeria wants to be part of it, so it gets a little share.
But I don't think this move is not about sharing money this time around. It's about finding a way to resolve the issues happening between Palestine
being part of OIC, Israel. Organization of Islamic, one of the benefits is that you get a little, you take part of the largesse.
My own is, when I saw the story, the first thing that came into my mind was a man whose house is on fire, does it chase rats? Nigeria is going over to, Saudi Arabia to help talk about how they are going to cease fire or how they will get ceasefire deal between Israel and Palestine because of the activities going on in that area that have been happening for some time there. Now, but we have insecurity bedeviling in this country. We have a terrorist group on its own now launching a social media app for people to come, recruiting Nigerians to be part of the force. And we have so many issues in the country, and we couldn't solve it ourselves, but we have to go and lend a voice in making sure that there will be a ceasefire in the Arab nation. I don't understand.
Well, Vina, I think for me, it's the more the merrier. Yes, it's the more the merrier. As many organizations as we belong to, so long as we get the goodies. And like Moses made a reference to what I said earlier, we always go cap in hand begging. And in this particular issue, the point is that the Arab countries happen to be, they have very deep pockets. They have very deep pockets. And so maybe there are crumbs, that will fall by the wayside. And probably that is why our president is there. But it is more concerning that we have a president. I think there's a statement that was issued, or so what he's going to tell the Arab nations. He is going to talk about the escalation of conflict between Israel and Hamas.
Yeah.
And the president is going to talk about how to help the Palestinians get full statehood. He's going to talk about the two-state solution. This is a president that is having very huge separatist agitations in this country. And he has never for once come out publicly to say, this is the way to go. This is the direction to go. So I believe with Fina, when Fina says that a man whose house is on fire is busy chasing rats. It's like Nero fiddling while Rome was burning. This is exactly what we see here. This is exactly what we see. And regarding membership of the OIC, the question remains, by the time, if we have a Christian president, how many times did Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan attend the OIC meetings? So these are questions that we need begin to interrogate all of this to help us build a Nigerian nation. We cannot continue to live in self-denial. Mr. President, by the time you come back, please understand that you are dealing with very clear and present danger when it comes to separatist agitation, as is happening in Palestine. You have the IPOB, you have the Odua People Congress, you have Sunday Buho. Even in the north, people are asking, we want to leave. So it will be good if you come back, you sit down, call Nigerians together, let us discuss how this union can benefit everybody. Almost everybody is aggrieved. And if we continue to paper over these things, the only thing it does is to expand the fault lines, and we can never be one if we go in this direction.
I think he should also bring up the idea that he's going to give the Arab nations, now bring it back to Nigeria to make sure it's working. Because so when I checked the story too, I saw that the likes of Nuhu Ribadu also went to Arab with him. And not just him, even Yusuf Torga, that's the ambassador, he's also one of the officials that went with the president. And I want to ask, all those ideas that, those men must have put to the table to serve more like the instrument that you're going to use to make sure that there's a ceasefire in these Arab nations where there's conflict. I hope they need to bring it back to Nigeria to make sure that we use it here so that the insecurity bedeviling Nigeria will also stop. Everybody the other day said something about how he's praying that God is the one that will intervene and in making sure that security officials who are selling their arms to bandits or terrorist group in Nigeria, they'll be dealt with by God. Is this the same solution that you're preferring for
in the first place, I don't think they have any instrument they are going to give them. It's just a talk show.
It's just a talk.
It's a talk show. They are going to talk. But for Nuhu Ribadu, I'm surprised has the prayer started? The prayer fast? Well, but probably he is going to do lesser hajj there with the president. It's all part of the prayer.
The president's wife did say that she never called for prayers, and she also dissociated herself from the prayers being advocated for. So let's move away from that story. Let's move on to other events happening as well. SERAP, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, have called on the President, President Bola Tinubu, to stop the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, and Nigeria's 36 governors from undermining the the National Judicial Council, NJC, by giving gifts to judges. We've had cases where judges are being given car gifts and house gifts. In Abuja, FEC data prove 40 houses to judges, and then shared 20 for FCT High Court, 10 for Federal High Court judges, 10 for Court of Appeal judges, and then I was looking for where it is in the code of conduct of judges that they should accept gifts. I was looking for that one. But this, of course, it's of major concern, because if gifts are given, especially by the executive arm of government, the governors, who are usually the ones that are dragged into litigations, one starts to wonder how fair judgment would be if cases are taken to court involving the people and the state, maybe. How fair would justice be if judges continue to receive such gifts? Well, it's a good call by Sarah, but will it be adhered to? I mean, it's not just FCT. It's in Lagos State, there were, gifts of cars as well being given to judges. Abia State is not exempt from it. River State as well, Cross River. So it's beginning to go around. Everybody in their own state is trying to get the judges on their side. And I don't think that's good for democracy.
Moses, clearly, it's not good for democracy. It's not good for the principle of separation of powers. I don't know how to put it now, but the issue is that I want to call it what it is. I'll start from using the word graft. And what is graft? Graft means bribe. It is simple as that. It is bribery. When you give the NJC, the judges, if you talk about separation of powers, their remunerations, whatever you give them, should be on the first line charge of the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation. It is not the executive that gives it to them. It is the Constitution that clearly gives them that, so that they remain independent. With all sense of modesty, we are also getting to have a judiciary that is clearly watered down. And like I said, with all sense of modesty, my wife is a lawyer. My wife is a very senior lawyer, for that matter. So there are times you have interactions with members of the bar and the bench, and if you are invited for parties, when you go there, you don't see judges in those parties.
They don't come out at all.
They don't come out because they are very, very careful, not to be dragged into one kind of controversy or the other. You never can tell who is in that party. Yeah. You never can tell who will come to court on Monday or on a Tuesday to say, I saw you in the party organized by my opponent. Yeah. So I want you to recuse yourself from this case. So they avoid such things. And when we talk about graft, you recall that Sam David West went to jail for what? For accepting a wristwatch. Now we have government giving judges vehicles, mansions in choice areas in the FCT. And after that, in the middle of the night, you get one ex parte injunction. You get one interim injunction. From who? From where? For what purpose? That is graft. That is bribery. It should stop if you want to maintain the sanity of the judiciary.
But I'm very happy that the judiciary, all of them put together, they call themselves learned colleagues. But I think they also need to uphold their dignity and respect by rejecting some of these things when it's being made available to them. Yeah, we know politicians are always out there to say, I'm giving you this. No, nothing attached, just for, the work well done you're doing. But I think the judges or members of the NJC should also come up to say, no, we don't need it. You keep it. Because if you check it out, they also need to understand that they are subservient to the executive and every other arm of the government, to have the three of them. So when we blame the executive for trying to give them grants, we should also look at their direction. No, they're all adults.
No, Fina, it's like it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
If you don't give, they will not take.
Yes, but they can also say, we don't.
Recall that the first money we borrowed, the first money this administration borrowed, they doled out $40 billion to the NJC. For what? Unaccounted for. They didn't say anything. This is for the NJC.
Job well done.
Job well done. Job well done. You said that.
Oh, now you're throwing it to me. Oh, well, talking about remuneration of judges, lawyers, and the rest, I think more can be done in that regard. We're clamoring, because if they are better paid, then the conversation is they might be able to provide some of these things for themselves and then refuse some of these gifts that will ensnare them. But in a situation whereby a judge is receiving 3 million basic per annum, and then a legislature is getting something monthly that, that basically dwarfs what the judges get, then one starts to wonder how fair the system is. Because, looking it up, Chief Justice of Nigeria, according to this statistics, receive approximately 3 million per annum, basic. And then other justices of the Supreme Court get about 2.5 million per annum, basic. Court of Appeal judges get about 2.8 million, basic. And other justices get about 2.2 million per annum, basic salaries. So I think more can be done in that regard.
Yes, Ramfac should actually look into that. It's not encouraging.
No, it's not. No, it's not. All right, then. Well, let's take another story before we delve into the papers now. This one, at the University of Uyo's convocation, President Bola Tinubu, being represented, of course, called on graduates to use their skills to uplift society and fuel Nigeria's development rather than running off to the overseas for greener pastures. And then, more was spoken on as regards what the government is doing, student loan being one of the things mentioned, credited to this administration, what it's doing to ensure that students can get through with their education and then be useful to themselves and the nation. But then you ask yourself, these are pertinent questions. What is the climate, the environment like, especially business environment? What is it like? You get out of school, you can't get a job, you can't even start a business because of the stringent measures that it would take to start off a business, from scratch, of course. And how is government enabling businesses to thrive? What are the policies that government is putting in place to ensure that small and medium-scale businesses have a breath of fresh air? Well, these are questions that we are begging for answers, because if these things are not put in place, then the young ones, business owners, may not be able to do well in business. And if they can't do well in business, they will run to where they believe they can at least eke out a living and not be begging people for handouts.
All right, Moses, I think there's a way I want to capture it, and it is the president telling us, practice what I preach, but don't do what I do. That's the way I see it. Because we have a president that at any slightest opportunity jumps on the air. Piam. He's overseas.
Is he looking for greener? Nah.
No, he's not looking for.
I always like to do this.
No, he's not looking
for greener pastures for himself or for Nigeria.
Moses is not looking for greener pastures because the pasture here is not even green. He's looking for green pastures. When he gets the green, we'll now talk about the greener.
You mean the land is no longer green in Nigeria?
No, the land is green. Nigerian land is green. Unfortunately, it's like this is the garden and you are on the other side. The garden is very green, but you can't even get to the garden because of entry barriers, obstacles created by structures, created by policies and all of that. A president that finds it convenient to holiday overseas, a president that finds it convenient to attend medical vacations, a president that finds it convenient to take vacations over, and all of that, and he turns around to ask the youth to remain in Nigeria. It's simply practice what I preach, but don't do what I do.
But he's of the opinion that this government have invested significantly in the education of Nigerian youths. He also reminded Nigerians that education is a cornerstone of every national development. And then having invested a whole lot.
Like how? Like how much?
Like Moses rightly said.
Fund.
Exactly.
That started up to 6 months.
So now, don't you think that after all this significant, investment in the life of Nigerian youth, that they shouldn't, be quick in leaving the country?
Fina, the fact of it is this. we can dwell on this for as long as we like. We can dwell on this denial as long as we like. If you make Nigeria conducive and comfortable, you don't need to tell Nigerians
not to go anywhere.
They will stay.
That's the thing.
How many Americans come here?
Becomes convenient enough for businesses to thrive. Nigerians abroad will come back.
Will come back.
They'll come back and invest.
Did you see the outline for you to be able to apply for the FIRS, job that they just opened their portal sometime last month for Nigerian youth to participate in that recruitment? You first of all have to have at least minimum of a 2-1, and your age shouldn't be more than 25 years old, And, they have so many things you need to have before you will be eligible to apply for such job. And Nigeria is one place we know that you come up and next thing that they will ask you is, how many years experience do you have? And there is no job already for people to do. And how are you going to get into the workforce when you know you don't even have any job experience to start with? And this is coming from the same administration that is telling us you don't have to run anywhere, don't jet out, just stay back and try to give back to society that made you. Quite interesting.
Oh, well, there is another story. I actually just got this one now from the producer of the show. We hear that there are tensions. Biafra tensions rises as Simon Ekpa reveals new map. I also saw a story somewhere waiting to confirm that one. It's unconfirmed, actually, that Simon Ekpa was arrested in Finland. Oh, well, Chukwuma, do you have that story?
Well, it's been trending, but I also have not confirmed it, But talking about his arrest, I'm trying to reconcile his being arrested and his putting out a map.
The release of a new map.
The release of a new map, So which map are we talking about? Which map?
The map of Biafra.
The map of Biafra
that will fit into.
No, the states that.
The states, I beg your pardon.
The parts of the country that will, So I don't know his definition of Biafra, but there is an original definition of Biafra historically. If you go back in history, Biafra was actually. Should I be saying this? Should I be talking about Biafra?
I think we shouldn't.
I think we.
No, we'll leave that one for another day.
For another day. But the fact of it is that, well, there's a map out there and it is trending. I don't know who gets into that map and who is outside that map. And he has also called on Finland government to support him.
So you're trying to relate it with the arrest. It's a little bit confusing.
But it's curious that we are now, when we complain about neocolonialism, we keep running to these same people to help us, to support us. The other time, it was Sunday Igboho that went to UK, submitted a letter to the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and said, look, come and support us. We want a sovereign state of Yoruba nation. Now we have a Simon Ekpa going to the Prime Minister of Finland to say, I need your support to create a Biafra. But are we now inviting them to come and help us again? It's like Moses, there's something we discussed the other day, the new scramble for Africa. Is that what we are witnessing now? If we are calling on these people to come and support
I don't think Finland is powerful enough to want to scramble for anything in Nigeria. I don't think they have what it takes.
The fact that they were not part of it before doesn't mean that they can't be part of it now. So, I mean, the concept of uti possidetis, but like you said, it's a different thing. We'll talk about it.
Yes, we'll talk about that one.
But let's see if the Finnish government will come up to say, we are actually excusing ourselves from this one, because that was also ahead when the UK thing come up with Sunday Igboho.
No, but the UK didn't react. It was the Nigerian ministry. Permanent secretary in the ministry that reacted.
They did. They reacted.
Okay, UK, you reacted.
They did from it. So let's see.
That they received thousands of petitions like that.
Yes,
well, let's get into newspaper headlines now. Let's take headlines. I was going to say review, but newspaper review is at 9 o'clock. Join us again then. But in the meantime, let's look at stories that made it to the cover pages of the dailies. Now, from the Guardian newspaper, delayed 2025-2027 MTEF threatens budget cycle. 2027 Jonathan Obi Kwankwanso's names resound as political jostling intensifies. Stop Wike governors from giving cars, houses to judges, Serap tells Tinubu. Arewa groups, Huriwa, Sunny nudge North to accept Tinubu's tax reforms. NLC threatens strike December 1, demands wage review over worsening hardship. Well, if NLC is threatening strike December 1, And Simon Ekpa and the Biafra are threatening for December too. And December holds quite a lot for Nigerians. Let's see what happens.
On December 3.
All right then. Stranded oil wells. Old facilities stall 2.5 MBPD oil production. Experts underscore employees' mental health amid rising workplace depression. All right, so these are the headlines. These are the headlines from the Guardian newspaper.
On the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning, the banner headline reads, Trump's win may weaken Naira, raise debt service cost, PMS price. I'll take that again. Trump's win may weaken Naira, raise debt service cost, and PMS price. And the window headlines are FG saves 5.4 trillion Naira in subsidy removal. That is coming from presidency. The writer to that story says Atiku and envious of Tinubu's position as president. Serap asks Tinubu to stop Wike governors giving cars, houses to judges. And we have a major pictorial, and that is between the president of Nigeria and the president of Saudi Arabia. And beside that, a new minister says he was appointed to deliver Kano to APC in 2027. Acting COAS seeks Citizens Corporation to overcome insecurity. The story is on page 6 of the Daily Independent. On Dogoba poll, IJP bars Amotekun from election duties. Obedience movement re-strategizers insist on a new Nigeria in 2027. No blackmail can stop us from demolishing illegal structures. That is coming from Wike. The story is on page 29 of the Daily Independent. Another bold headline on the cover page of the Daily Independent reads, despite increased aircraft, airfares will remain high. That is coming from stakeholders. And the last but not the least, the bottom strip headline reads, Rivers crisis. God has energized us to govern more resolutely, Fubara declares. And those are the headlines that made it to the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning.
And now let's touch on the Nigerian Tribune with the banner headline, Presidency gets hard on Atiku, says he is envious of Tinubu's position. And you have the window headlines. Monday lines, Tribune at 75, a bouquet of stories. That story is on page 10. Tribune is already 75 years old. That's a good one. Now, IGP bans Amotekun, vigilante from Ondo polls, as NSCDC deploys 6,000 operatives. You can find that story on page 22. Now, there's a pictorial there of our president being welcomed by the King of Saudi Arabia himself. And beside that, you have Nigeria's tax system, among most backward worldwide, contains 1939 laws, according to Oyedele. That is on page 6 of the Tribune newspaper. New terrorist group in Northwest. Crush it now, ACF tells federal government. Acting Chief of Army Staff in Sokoto calls for Citizens Corporation. And investors scout for returns as 12 companies embark on 2.26 trillion naira capital raising activities. Now there's another headline there. NLC demands action on worsening hardship, economic crisis. That story is on page 25, and it has the rider, Nigerians grown under high transportation cost. And that's all from the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, that's pretty much all we can take at this moment. We will be delving into the paper review much later. But in the meantime, let's, excuse me. Now let's look at some of the stories that we reeled out earlier. New tax bills to shake up revenue collection. NUPRC, customs, others, maybe shown the way out. Oh well, maybe collapsed actually. But anyway, let's look at this one after this break.
From the views on the streets
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's law.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things and makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Moving straight down into the major topic of conversation. In August 2023, President Bola Tinubu launched a major tax reform initiative by forming the Tax and Fiscal Reform Committee, led by tax expert Tayo Oyedele. The committee's mission is to overhaul Nigeria's tax system, aiming to drive economic growth, boost revenue, and improve tax compliance. Key proposals include increasing VAT to enhance government revenue while introducing tax exemptions to support low-income earners, addressing income inequalities, and creating a fairer tax structure. One major reform proposal is to centralize federal tax collections under a newly named Nigerian Inland Revenue Service, NIRS, instead of the FIRS that we used to have, which will replace the Federal Inland Revenue Service. This shift will halt the tax collection and its roles of approximately 60 federal agencies, including the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, and Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, enabling them to focus on core functions. This centralization is expected to streamline tax processes and strengthen agency efficiency while ensuring tax revenue is equitably shared across all levels of government. And we have it also in the studio to help make sense of this because, the issue of the tax reform is more like dividing the country. Have governors of the northern states saying, no, we don't think we need this at this time. And also have some Nigerians also chiming in, saying that this is more like a wrong move at this particular time when Nigerians are grappling economic hardship. We have in the studio this morning Dr. Dayo Kayode, who is a socio-political technocrat and aviation safety expert. Good morning, Dr. Dayo.
It's my pleasure being with you. How was the weekend?
It was splendid. Thank you so much for being part of the show. What do you make of this, the new tax reform, and how some people have been going back and forth on how it's not really good for Nigerians at this particular time?
Well, the best news about it is that the National Assembly are returning back to him, and most of the governors in the north and even some in the south are not in tandem with it. However, when I was going through it, and the person in charge of that reform was telling us that, listen, customs don't even collect revenues and all that in advanced countries. I said, okay, let me go to my Okmoifa, what we call Okmoifa, which is the Google. I said, please, Okmoifa, tell me, does customs collect revenue for governments in UK and US? And he affirmed it. He affirmed it. So where are we getting our own? Listen, we said we are practicing presidential system of government as is in America. The question is, are we doing the right thing? Is it the way they are practicing that we are practicing our own? So why are you now trying to unnecessarily tax people? Okay, I went further in my research. Yes, is tax good? He said yes. Why is it good? He said it is good when you are taxing your citizens and then you are using it efficiently and effectively towards ensuring economic well-being and security of the people. Is that what we are seeing in Nigeria? All right? I went further. Another one was telling me, a senator was even saying that African countries are the ones that are taxing more of their people. The tax that they are being put in on Africans are higher than there. You know why? They say because when we are borrowing and we are not spending that money borrowed to improve our economic activities, this same government, we still want to show that yes, they can pay back all these loans we are taking. And to that extent, they now tax their people. And the effect of that tax is this. When you tax your people unnecessarily without using it effectively and efficiently on them, they won't be able to engage in economic activities. Because the woman selling boli and Ekpa on the street wants to improve the trade. But when you have already taxed that woman, tell me, where will he get enough money to improve that trade? Most especially when you are not using that tax to give educational facility, health facility, and all of that, and you are even increasing the tariff of electricity. So how do you expect such a person to now have money to engage more in economic activities? Rather, we even be eating deep into the money that he or she has been using.
But Oyedele will disagree with you because he come up to say that Nigerian tax system is among the most backward in the world. And that was the reason they come up with this new bill to say we need
let us
because given the fact he made mention of the tax bill.
Let us look at the language there now.
1939.
Let us look at the language. Backward is different from excessive. Are we communicating? Backward that you used is different from the excessive tax that I used. When you are talking of backward, we are talking about the system, the whole system that you are using in one, collecting those taxes. Okay, two, how effective is that tax? All right? So many of us, we have traveled worldwide and we have seen the way they are using their taxes over there. In UK, you will see people that are not even employed. On Fridays, they will go to the post office to go and collect stipends that they will use. There was a time I was in UK, they just built that particular estate in Southeast. I was marveled about that estate. All right? But imagine here, our 1004, built for civil servants, and being sold to who? Who? Marua Gardens. Go to history of Marua Garden at Alausa there. It's meant for who? Civil servants, so that they can have easy access to accommodation, and then they wouldn't be transporting themselves to the secretariat there.
Well, it's interesting that you
go there. Who are the people living there?
It's interesting that you mentioned 1004, because I do recall I was living in 1004 up until we were chased out, and we basically carried our bags and mattresses out of the estate at the time. After that administration sold it, the Obasanjo administration. Oh well, now let's talk about multiple taxation. That has also come up. That's a major issue.
It's another issue.
Yes, multiple taxation, especially in a situation where there are different government agencies collecting the same tax from the people. How do we deal with that?
It is part of the inefficiency we are talking about. And then the obsolete she used, all right? Now, let us take, for example, airport is closer to you here. Airport, when you want to travel. And then compare it to other airports, maybe in UK, in US, in Germany, you know. Here, you will see different agencies. Different agencies lining up. And you have to go through each and every one of them. Let me tell you this. All of them will be looking for what is not even missing. And they will say, yes, they are this. This one will say, yes, is for this. This one will say, yes, is for that. These are part of the things we are talking about. Why can't we have all of them? They are federal government agents. Okay? Now, these are what you are looking for. These are what you are looking for. These are what you are looking for. When you process that back, do it once and for all and let everybody leave. Once and for all and let everybody leave. So why are you differentiating yourselves? Say this one is immigration, this one is custom, this one is what do they call them again? That looks for wood and all that. When you are taking all these carved images, you are traveling with them. I forgotten what they call them again now. They normally wear green, this thing.
Is it forestry or whatever?
I know. I remember. Then you also have police. You also have SSS. You see, have DSS. Yes, quarantine. They are quarantine. Quarantine. What is quarantine doing, for goodness sake? That custom cannot do.
You have the NDLA.
You see, have the NDLA. Do you understand? Why can't you push that thing on the scanner? And mark you, they will say, yes, there are scanners there. So put it on the scanner will scan every. I was passing through this airport some times ago. Which airport is that? I remember. I was having bread agege. You know, in America, all of them, they always love bread agege. I was having agbaluma.
Well, that's not the name. That's not.
What's the name of bread agege? Is there any English for bread agege? Agege bread.
Okay.
This agbaluma, I was also having it. There is another thing, this black, but inside of it is pink. You know, that children normally love. I was having them. I just they pushed my back through the scanner. I was waiting for my bag. I couldn't see. Somebody now said I should
step aside.
I stepped aside.
So you were traveling with agbalumo, which is known as cherry.
Cherry, sure you understand? Me, I don't know anything about that. Do you understand?
But why exactly were you traveling with that?
To give people.
Okay.
Agbalumo, it was cherry season. Yeah. And then I said, Uncle, please bring this. So Daddy, bring this. So do you understand? So I just traveled with it. I stepped back. Later, they now brought my bag with a dog. You know?
Sniff dog.
That dog has already sniffed it. And they were now asking me, what do I have there? And innocently, I told them. Fortunately, one Ekpa guy was also there. One guy from Ekpa here was working there. And I said, Agbaluma. He said, that Agbaluma, they will confiscate it too. I said, why? He said, not fruit. He said, because the seed inside, some people can go and plant it innocently.
All right.
Do you understand? And between me and me, how many people talk to me? Only one person. Why? Because all of them had been educated and indoctrinated as regards the needs of that place. So why are we duplicating this?
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Dayo. Now let's talk a bit about the politics of the new tax reforms. We have the NEC, the National Economic Council, even reject it. We have the Northern Governors reject it. Now there's an issue that is trending now, the issue of attribution and derivation with the new tax regime. Now, some people have alleged, curiously, that the president and Taiwo Oyedele are making these reforms to subterraneanly, to inadvertently favor the Southwest. You know why? They said the new reform says 60% of VAT collections, will go to the state of collection. And now what they mean by state of collection? Let's take, for instance, MTN has its head office in Lagos here. Head office. But MTN has over 5 million subscribers somewhere in Anambra State, over 3 million somewhere in Imo State, over 3 million somewhere in Kano State. Now, when you aggregate all of these monies and VAT collected on them, Lagos State takes 60% of that. Why? Because its head office is situated in Lagos. That is what is called attribution. And you can name Nigerian breweries, you can name First Bank, you can name Fidelity Bank, you can name all the telcos. All of them are situated in either Lagos or Ogun State. Now, do you agree with that the president is looking for a way to favor the Southeast, given what I have just said now?
You see, president or no president, Tayo Idile or no Tayo Idile, attribution or no attribution, all I am saying in all this, I wouldn't play politics with it. Rather, I will talk as somebody who believes in a cohesive Nigeria, because that's what I've always been preaching, okay? There is no doubt about it that if only we can all agree to principles of federation through what we have been agitating for, fiscal policy. Do you understand? Fiscal policy. And then based on policy of derivation, policy of derivation. Do you understand? All this will not be happening. All this will not be happening. I'll give you an instance. The oil that we are getting from the south of Nigeria, how do we share it? You see everybody talking about it. The oil wells, who are the people having those oil wells? I can mention, I wouldn't mention name though, but I can make examples to two northerners that once said, "Ow, this money is just too much. What do I even do with it?" They decided to sell some of those oil wells and made some money. We're all aware. There's another one that took our money to go and buy chairs, CHAIR, in the department where his daughters, two of his daughters, graduated in America. We know them. But you now find out, people in Bayelsa, people in Ogokoma, I don't know how to pronounce those names. Do you understand? They are suffering. But tell me, who are mining the gold in the north? Who are mining them? And all those other resources in the north, who are mining them? So all we need to do is to go back to sincere principles of federalism. And there is nothing other than we need to do to understand what we call fiscal policy responsibilities. The moment other ones are there, listen, we all followed the American election just now. And we saw the way they were campaigning based on issues. And not between you and me, even which state is Trump from? Which region is Harris from? I've been saying, listen, I don't want to fill a form and somebody be asking me, which state am I from? I should be able to go to Enugu and contest there. If I've lived there for 6 years, I should be able to go to somebody from the north, should be able to come to my Ekiti and become the governor. If only I've been living there and understand the needs and aspirations of the people.
So are you now also saying that...
So what I'm saying is all this politics of tax reform and all that, I don't believe in it. Let us go back to the basics. And that is the only time that we'll be able to come out with policies that everybody will accept.
Obasanjo last month said something about how the practice of regionalism, which Nigerians held for some time, is what drifted us far apart into what we're having today, to be ethnic bigotry and all that. You also share that line of
You
thought.
see, Baba as a Yoruba man, I will always respect him. And I will always find it difficult to disparage whatever he has said or is going to say. However, I, as an adult, I have my own position too. Regionalism or no regionalism, the question I always ask them, are you going to remove this set of politicians and then bring another set to come and practice that regionalism? Are this not set of Nigerians that practice that regionalism that was left behind, and then we try to embrace presidential system of government? Now the question is this. Are we practicing that same presidential system of government the way it's supposed to be practiced? Now, look at this. Where are those institutions that they have in America? Are they here? The institution we have here, are they strong? Instead of us to be building strong institutions, we are building strong personalities. I don't know whether you are aware of the new president of NURTW again now.
Yeah, he emerged solely.
And you see the way they now want to be using the NURTW to be carrying, delivering election materials. That is where I'm going. Where are those institutions?
Is it his fault that he came out unopposed? Because no one came up to contest that
that's not the
election
issue.
with him.
Sorry, that's not the issue. The issue is about the institution of presidential system of government. How presidential system of government can work, because I think you refer to it.
No, I say something. I say that Obasanjo was blaming the regional system of government we once had in Nigeria to be what drifted us far apart. You know, even when Nigerians are saying, let's go back to regional system of government, by so doing, they believe that saints in Nigeria will be held accountable because there will be resource control.
It is not about going back to regionalism or presidential system of government. It is about reformation of ourselves, reinventing our nation, re-engineering our institutions.
How possible do you think that
Look at this. Look at Edo election. For any chairman to have come out to give that statement that is regretting it, I told him, I said, listen, I don't want you to talk about this, then revert the result. Revert the result. It is when you have reverted the result that we now know that, yes, you are ready to work. Look at what is happening again now in Ondo State. Amotekun outfit that had been stamped, boom, to be working. And you are now saying you cannot co-opt Amotekun to ensure free and fair election. What are we talking about? So what I'm saying in essence is this. Either regionalism or presidential system of government, without us putting in place a veritable, effective, and working institutions,
okay,
we cannot get to anywhere.
Now, since you drifted into elections, you know, we're moving away from tax, the tax reforms now, talking about elections. Let me just...
We did review it, was just
let me just follow you on that one.
referencing.
It's okay, it's fine. Let me follow you on that one. You did talk about Amotekun not being co-opted into ensuring free and fair elections.
Yeah.
Do we really need security agents to, you know, help in ensuring that elections are smoothly conducted?
It's because of
because
who
in
we
River
are.
State,
Because of who we are.
in River State, you do recall there was an election there, the local government elections, and security agencies were not part of
Honestly,
it, and it went in well.
You have just made reference to River State. Can we also make reference to option A4 of Babangida? Can we also make reference to option A4? Did we use any security? These are issues. But because each day that breaks, we drift away from doing the right thing to bad things, towards institutionalizing criminology
Okay. Now
in our system.
Let me bring us back to the tax reforms and the digital economy. Part of the the taxes that this administration is introducing has been said to will have an impact on digital economy. And
What is digital economy?
well, this basically is an economy where government plays little or no role in. Individuals get involved, using the digital space to earn a living.
But
And
have they been walking the talk? Has the government been walking the talk?
Okay.
When you are not walking the talk,
What do you mean
and
by
you are
walking
saying,
the talk?
have they been doing what they are preaching?
Which is what exactly?
Which is what you have just, that's why I said, what is digital economy? So that viewers, listeners can know where we are going. You have been talking about digital economy. To what extent have you allowed that economy to be digitalized without you putting your all forms of interferences? So, and if you are not allowing that, there's no way you can move forward. Anytime you want to move forward, you have already created some forms of encumbrances that will not allow you to work. And that is what we are seeing now in this tax reform.
Sorry, Dr.
An encumbrance have been there from the beginning, have been issue. There have been an encumbrance. So there is no way you'll be able to scale that wall except you remove that.
So, sorry, Dr. Dayo. I think what Moses is actually talking about is, if you talk about the digital economy, he's talking about Nigerians who are not employed in factories, offices and all of that. But at home, they use the internet, they use the net, to work. Some of them for Nigerian companies, some of them for overseas companies. Now, he is talking about taxing those people. Moses, if I'm right, he's talking about taxing those people. Is it appropriate for the government that has not helped, like you said, in this digitalization, and they are turning around to tax these same people?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Listen, when I was at your reception just now, I just said, they brought lights. Okay? Your engineer went there to switch over to the lights. That few minutes, some of your customers will have been affected. Are you with me? Not quite 25 minutes again, that light was ticking. Another encumbrance there. Are you with me? And you think such a person will want to pay you tax?
So you think government should not be asking for taxes if it's
And
not
you
providing?
And you think such will want to pay you tax? When you ask me, when you put my residential lights on band A, that I'm not producing anything, and you are taking my lights now again for about 5-10 hours, and you are still affecting my business there, and you want me to pay you light? These are the encumbrances I'm talking about.
So are you
efficient with it?
Dr. Dayo, are you in turn saying that this is the wrong time for us to be looking at tax reform? Is that what you're saying?
When we want to look at tax reforms, there are some things that you first of all need to put in place. Abroad, they're always very happy to pay taxes. Okay? It's just like when you wanted to remove subsidy. You have already removed it. You are now planning to bring electric vehicles or whatever. Why haven't you, first of all, put that one in place? Then people will not be happy that you are not even removing subsidy, because they know that yes, there's an alternative. But you are not putting anything on ground, and you are just saying poo. No, just like you want to eat panedia. You want to eat panedia. You start to go to the market to buy yam, and you have not bought the mortar and the pestle. Have you started?
You can use blender.
all right, Doctor.
And they will take light.
Dr. Dayo.
They will take light. What will you use?
This is like this particular government is interested in, like, the progressives that they are. If you could liken them to Democrats, who like to spread tax against Republicans who like the tax to remain somewhere. Now, this particular government is interested with this new reform. They are interested in redistributing the taxes to the extent that they leave the burden on the poor and now heap it on the wealthy, on the rich. Don't you think it's a good step in the right direction?
Fine. If you think it is a good step in the right direction,
No, he's
that
asking
is
what
all.
you think.
But for my own, sir, for my own, all these things backfires
How?
on the people. And I will tell you, for instance, let us take tariff, increase in tariff. You are looking well fed, you can afford it. Look at I am, Angela, beside you. Can I afford it? No. When they remove subsidy, fuel subsidy, I was coming out. I was seeing some siren going. People going in convoy of 10 vehicles, a single person. Eh? Is it running on his urine or running on fuel? Can I buy it? Yesterday, I just bought 25,000 naira fuel. Come and check this where it is now. For me to come here and to go back now. You get what I'm saying? So all these things still backfire on the downtrodden. For example, more importantly, when you are now taxing, when you are increasing your tax net and all that, for instance, as a pharmacist, that tax will be on you. The tariff on electricity, tenement rates, and all that. On what will you put it? On your drugs.
So basically,
Yadiboli's son is now sick. Where will he go and buy drugs? He will come and buy from you. Where will he get that money to buy the drug? The school, where will he get money to go to school? Now minimum wage have been increased to 70,000. And all those schools, especially private schools and all that, they too are supposed to increase their own. How will they be able to survive it? People are no more taking their children to school. Go out there and see what is happening.
But you know, before now, Dr. Dayo, the people who happens to be part of the workforce and the civil servants are the ones paying this tax because the money is being taken directly from their salary. Whereas the big wigs are moving because they have...
You have touched another area now.
They have tax. But no, don't you think with this new tax reform, that the bulk of the payments will now fall back on the big wigs they have in the society?
Good. I thank you, that area you went to, the civil servants. And that is why somebody like me, I've always been fighting NLC. I've always been fighting them. Now, the minimum wage of 70,000 naira have been agreed upon. Tariff was increased thereafter. Pump price of petroleum went up with how many percentage? All right? Which has affected all spectrum of life. Are they now going back to say they want to negotiate again?
And that's why I've been telling them. They're projecting a strike or a protest.
You see, NLC had been acting as if they are not ready to think. They are still on the path of Pa Umodu and the other Baba show whatever of those days. I said, listen, stop asking for minimum wage. Start asking for sustainable, underline that one, minimum living wage. By so doing, you have put everything together. And at the end of the day, you put it there. Any tilt in that sustainability must definitely affect the living wage. If you increase this by 5%, definitely it will have affected this by 5% because inflation. It will also bring in inflation. So this one must also increase by 5% without even going to any table. We have to lay it. These are part of the things I'm saying should be on ground before you can say you want to extend or expand your tax net.
All right, Dr. Dyer, thank you very much. Now, let's talk about cutting out some agencies of government from collecting taxes, like the customs, the NUPRC, and all of that. There is something that trended last 2 weeks. And,
is royalty part of tax? Royalties.
It depends on definition.
But it's part of tax.
Okay.
Royalties.
Now.
So are they mentioning that too? Are they looking at that? Are they taking cognizance of that?
No, a whole lot is in the mix.
Oh.
You know, the question I'm asking is this. sometime last week, I think it trended and fizzled out that a certain Chinese company will now be the one collecting taxes in some of these establishments, like the customs, like the oil companies, royalties, and all of that. And now people are
Who owns
asking,
the Chinese company?
that is the question Nigerians are asking.
Alpha Beta.
You know, so people are now asking.
Wait, we know now.
Doctor, wait, let me land on my question now. You know, people are asking, is it that we want to replicate, we as Nigerians, we want to replicate the Alpha Beta thing that happened in the Lagos
It is
nationwide?
I will tell you, it is not. But something similar to it. You know that some of them up there, I don't know whether you remember, sometimes during Buhari administration, and they signed a particular contract with the Chinese. And some of the contractual, this thing was not properly defined. And they took it to the National Assembly. And Lai Mohammed went there and started blabbing. And we say, no. So we have taken a lot from these Chinese, and we have been using them to perpetrate injuries on Nigerians. Injuries on Nigerians. And what do you expect? Peradventure, please underline, because I like minding my language. Peradventure, I am saying, they had also agreed with them behind closed doors that these are part of the areas whereby you will do this with us, and then all of us will be able to rub our backs, and then some water will pass underneath the bridge, and nobody will be able to see it. The Lagos Calabar Express that they're doing,
it's ongoing.
It's
Coastal Highway.
We also heard that particular company, I mean, the bidding for that particular project was not done properly. We had, and then there were a lot of controversies on it. And it was also, the lid was also blown open that somebody, a big man's son, was also part of the board of directors of that company. Peradventure, they are now using that company to now prepare that particular big man's son to becoming governor of a particular state. And that the big man's son had even been distributing rice and all that to people in that particular state. So there are a lot of issues here and there. And that's why I said initially that not until when we are being sincere with ourselves as regards policy formulation, honestly speaking, we are not going to get to anywhere. And people must be ready to say the truth,
Dr. Dayo,
especially when we are this kind of a platform.
Dr. Dayo, you just said that the Alpha Beta thing is not going to happen.
I didn't say so.
Okay, maybe you didn't understand.
I didn't say so. I said Alpha Beta was there.
Yes.
But I'm not saying that one too will take the form of Alpha Beta, but might take another form that is bigger than Alpha Beta. Okay, so you are in agreement that, look, it's even more. I'm not in agreement with you. What we are saying different things. So, Dr. Dayo, okay, so you think that the Alpha Beta thing will not happen on a larger scale?
Or you're saying that it will happen on a bigger scale? On a bigger scale.
You see, Alpha Beta happened in a state.
Lagos, precisely.
And this one is now happening in a bigger space.
So it's going to be.
So which one do you think will be bigger?
So basically what you're saying, if I understand it correctly, is that certain individuals in power are trying to enrich themselves by, putting themselves in positions where they before you have to go and watch my video. Which one is that?
There was a video I released during the election.
Musical video?
No. My passionate appeal to Nigerians on 2023 election. Passionate appeal to Nigerians on 2023 election. If you listen to that, then you will know that what I pretended there are happening here. I can post it.
Yes, I would like to. Watch.
I will send it to you.
So, what was your appeal? Were you saying the Nigerian?
I was telling Nigerians that listen, when you see a rat, a big rat, this edible rat, in Yoruba we call it erangbe.
Bushrat.
Bushrat. Bushmeat.
Okay, we call it ewi in Igbo land.
You will put something like yam or carrot as a bait. You say seafood, I'm going to eat this food. As you go there like this, bam!
So that's what you're projecting to be happening to Nigerians at this point.
So Nigerians.
I said you should listen. I'm just giving a proverb, so it depends for everybody to just interpret it the way.
Just a quick one now. We from this new tax bill reform, we know that the FIRS will change to Nigerian Inland Revenue Service, and then some agencies have come up to say maybe their work could be affected, like the NASENI, the NITDA, and the TET Fund. Do you think that is going to happen? And when that happens, where does that leave Nigeria, given the fact that we have a projection that over 133 million Nigerians will fall back to poverty? Like, not just poverty that we're getting now, multidimensional poverty come 2025.
You see, changing a name does not change your personality. All right? If you are changing your name now, it doesn't change who you are.
Oh, some will say it does.
The only thing,
a lot in the name.
The only thing that can happen is if you upgrade yourself, probably educationally, going for more information, and then changing your status from maybe from the left to the right. You know what I'm talking? Or from the right to the left. All right? So, it is not about changing their name. No. Or it is not about bringing them together to become one. No. The question is, are we doing this thing purposefully to achieve a positive, desired result? Or to achieve an hedonistic, tendentious result?
Changing from FIRS to NIRS will affect over 60 agencies from tax collection. And that also led me to this question I asked you earlier. If this is to happen, where does that leave Nigeria or the people that happen to be part of those agencies, given the fact that there's a projection that 133 million Nigerians come 2025 will be having or suffering, a dire situation more than the multidimensional poverty we're having in Nigeria?
That is another aspect to it. Two, I've explained the first one in changing the name. Are you purposeful in what you're doing? Again, when you now bring all those things, all those agencies together under one, those people that are working in other agencies, where do you put them? Bearing in mind the rate of unemployment that we have.
So you think some people will lose their jobs?
It's not that I think. It is given. It is given. Some people will lose their jobs.
But
when they lose their jobs, where do they go? What implication, again, for our...
But we've been talking about towing the line of the Oronsanye report. And if we will do that, then agencies will be collapsed into each other.
Yes.
And if that is
that
done,
of Oronsanye report, that of Oronsanye,
lose jobs.
That of towing the line of Oronsanye report, when you look at it properly, it does not necessarily mean that they will lose.
But jobs. You are a technocrat, so tell us what
I will show you this. I will show you this.
Go ahead, please.
There's what we call up heavy. Up heavy. When you have a lot of permanent secretaries up there, it's going to cost us a lot. Unlike when you match those things, it reduces those top officials, but at the same time, not reducing those working below. Because those people that are working below will still be doing their job
Duplication.
But under, there's no duplication. It's just like, look at this place, the whole of this edifice. Okay? Let's assume that each of the floors has their own function. And when they have their own functions, they have manager, general manager, this and that. But when they are being merged, does that mean the other floors will not be functional? No, because those that are even working on the second floor, third floor, cannot go and work on the first floor. Those will still be working, but they will now be under one single management. You understand what I'm trying to say?
All right, Dr. Dayo, quick one. Let me put you on the spot now.
Don't put me on the spot.
No, you're already on the spot. You're already on the spot now. If we put you in Taiwo or Yedele's seat, which of the clauses of the new tax reform will you take? Which one will you retain and which one will you expunge?
I will not even look at his own. I will come with my own, direct.
Okay, so what do you think should be done then?
Do you understand? Yes. All I need to do is to strengthen those institutions and make sure that they are well supervised, that they will not be collecting that thing to their pocket. Because all we are saying now, all we are looking at is, yes, these ones, they are putting so much into their pocket. Hey, that one, they are putting so much in their pocket. So let us put them together so that we can all see. No, it doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't. The only thing we need to do is look at EFCC, NFIU, DSS, strengthen them, let them be independent, let them work on their own. They will fish out all these people. But because they are not independent, how can you tell me that up to today, EFCC cannot bring out Bello, what's his name? Yahya Bello. And just yesterday, you went to pick Okowa.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Dr.
Look at some of those people that they are being picking up, and those that they refuse to pick up.
Dr.
So
Dayo.
what we need to do is to allow independence of all these institutions and then make them to work effectively.
All right, one last one. Will you increase VAT from 7?
Why will I increase that when I know that people are suffering already?
No, but you also need to generate money to pay off your debt.
Must you be generating through tax alone?
So how else will you generate money?
How can we look inward? How about our other resources that they are cutting away? How about other resources?
Which resources are you talking about now?
You say you want to put me on the spot already, but we all know. We all know about our oil theft.
No, you already
we all know about our oil theft. I've spoken about it. We all know about how they are stealing our resources in the north. Are you telling me that the insecurity we are having in this country is not artificial? It's not artificial. Let me refer you back to your friend. What's her name? On a CNN. Amanpo. He said any insurgent that any leader cannot quench under 24 or 48 hours, that leader should be taken as an accomplice. Who are the people that are giving the bandits water with an aircraft in the bushes? Tell me.
All right.
Who are those traditional leaders that are collecting money from bandits?
All right, it's interesting.
It's all there now.
It's interesting that you told this line because
it's all in the news.
Takes us into our next conversation where we hear that a bandit, an insurgent group is canvassing for members online. We'll talk about this one in our next conversation. So join us again.
From the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things and makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Thank you so much. It's still VOP this morning. On the second topic of discussion this morning, the military has exposed a surge in terrorist recruitment on social media, particularly by ISWAP terrorist group, and pledged to intensify operations to eliminate these threats. Major General Edward Buba, Director of Defense Media Operations, announced that ongoing military offensives and coordinated airstrikes have significantly weakened terrorist groups, including recent airstrikes in Borno, which neutralized over 70 extremists. Since the latest campaign, troops have neutralized 169 terrorists, arrested 641 others, and detained 40 suspects for all theft. They also freed 181 hostages, preventing all theft value at over 1.4 billion naira. Recovered items include 192 weapons, nearly 3,000 rounds of ammunition, 29 motorcycles, and 83 illegal refining sites in the Niger Delta. Additionally, they seized over 914,000 liters of stolen crude oil and various materials used in illegal refining operations. And a whole lot of the credits which the military have also helped Nigerians in making sure that the issue of terrorism also is being curbed in the country is that of how they are trying to repel or push back the Boko Haram terrorist group that came into the country when there was an assault on them by the Nigerian government. And we still have with us in the studio this morning, we still have Dr. Dayo Kayode, who we told us earlier is a socio-political technocrat and aviation safety expert. And beside him is Barrister Darlington Agomo. He's in the studio this morning, the capacity of a political analyst, and he's also VOP TV in-house analyst. Good morning, Barrister Darlington.
Good morning, Fina, Moses, and...
Good morning, Barrister.
Good morning, Darlington.
How are you? Okay.
Good to have you. Barrister, a quick one I would like to... Now, terrorists are recruiting members on social media platforms. What do you have to say about this? Is it that Nigerian government now can't do anything? Is it that the issue of terrorism now is too big for Nigerian government to curb, given the fact that we are giant of Africa? Or what is happening exactly?
The thing is that Nigeria has become a breeding ground for terrorists. We just created an avenue for them to come in here because you have a weak leadership whereby ethnic and tribal sentiment, religious sentiments. This particular group, from the research and report we've gotten, we are invited by Fulani killer herdsmen. A newspaper went into details how these people are invited. Just like other terrorist groups, they were invited. Fina, they were invited. This one that we are calling Fulani herdsmen. But how about your political leader that went to go and call them? These bandits and other terrorist groups, they were invited here. So why are you surprised? I have already predicted about 3-4 years ago when Buhari was there that, look, more of these terrorists will come into Nigeria because there is an end game. They are pursuing an agenda. As long as they have not gotten there, they will continue to come in. It's as simple as that.
What agenda do you think they are pursuing?
They want to Islamize Nigeria. What's his name? T.Y. Danjuma said it. Obasanjo said it.
How possible is it going to be to Islamize a nation that
they have done it in other countries and they succeeded? Didn't you know how they took over some countries that were originally Christian communities? From what is going on in the north today, have you seen any Christian raise up his voice? That place is already in their own hands. No Christian can raise up. Mention any Christian that holding any political appointment in the North today. Mention any Christian that is the governor in the North today. No, answer me. Mention any Christian that is any important political position in the North today. So they have already taken over. It's just a matter of time before they will come over here. So this thing that we have been saying since long ago, nobody wants to pass, is already happening. Look at the agenda. Recruiting youths, bribing them with money. By the way, the people they gave you their names are those sponsoring this thing. What have you done with them? Fina, what have you done with them? If this thing is not a deliberate and orchestrated plan, they deliberately start on the list, and you are telling me you are fighting terrorism. Look at more are coming. Who is sponsoring them? The money they are paying those locals, who gave it to them? Barrister, how possible is it that a country as big and great as Nigeria will not be able to trace the people who created a social media platform just to recruit terrorists? Oh, who told you they don't know? They know. El-Rufai told you that they hear their conversation. They know where they are. Gumi told you that whenever he's going to visit his boys, the bandits in the forest, the federal government officials used to back him up. They used to go with him. Gumi said it's Sheikh Gumi. So don't tell me that they know. All right. So there's no two ways about that. The thing is that you and I over here, we are sleeping on our right. In fact, we are sleeping on a bicycle. All right. Thank you, Dr. Darlington. Barrister Darlington. Let's bring Dr. Dayo in. Doctor, I with my side view, I was looking at you the way you were looking at Barrister Darlington. Yeah. Do you agree with his assertion?
Yeah, you see, I appreciate the passion he was speaking with. He was alluding his own reasons to religious sentiment. But between you and me, it's more than that. I wouldn't look at religious sentiment. Rather, political and economic. Political and economic. Okay. Behind the scene, I just showed you something as regards a traditional ruler collecting 700,000 from bandits and allowing those people to kill 30 of his people. You see, it will be pretty difficult for aborigines to be within their locality, and then those people that are stealing their resources will be able to do it effectively. So the only thing they can do is to create unrest, create fear, create all sort of ulabalu within that society, and then make them to flee to IDP camps. And after that, they will just be, some other people will just be, exploiting those resources. We're also together in this country about 2 or 3 years ago, when a particular traditional ruler banned a known leader of a terrorist. It was pictured. The guy came with 300 motorcycles, and on each, we were having nothing less than 2, some 3. And we were also having security chiefs attending that. Why was that guy not arrested? He made mention of the area of political, whereby El-Rufai spoke, Gumi spoke. In fact, that of Gumi even embarrassed the whole world the more. Why was he not quizzed? Why?
Being an intermediary between...
Sure! That means you know them. Bring them out. That means you know them. I quoted Amanpo just now. Even the only late father we have that has been giving us money from the grave also mentioned it. Sonny Abacha is the only late father we have now. Tomorrow now we see send us some money. Also mentioned it. That any insurgent in your territory that you cannot, it's just as this place is. As this place is. One camera got missing. You will be looking for it. And your management is telling you to keep quiet.
Are you a prophet?
tomorrow this small clock miss, and you are talking because you are the one here, and then you understand. So who is telling you management is not aware? Okay. Listen, I'm coming. I'm sorry. Okay. One more second. Having said that, I will also want us to always appreciate our military in the middle of this, because our military, honestly speaking, has been working. But the power that be has not been aligned them. Let me take you back. Let me take you back to that little girl, that Air Force girl, that they said somebody was reversing and killed. How can somebody be reversing in the barrel and then kill her? A little girl that had been flying seriously to dismantle the holds of these people in Sambisa. I will now say something killer. The other person that had crashed, aircraft crash about 2 years ago, we knew what led, what he had been saying. Lagbaja now, the traditional people in Lagbaja's village, they have been working, say their son died mysteriously. I don't know whether you read about it. Yes, I did. Because somebody who is having cancer cannot look healthy as he was before then. They have been saying it. But the traditional, I don't know whether you follow the news.
So they want his spirits to fight those that kill him.
They will go and call the Ayilela and all the okay. Rest. But the issue is, the military, they are really working. Okay. But we need,
their work is not
we need
okay.
to talk the truth to the powers that be.
Why do you think the powers that be?
There's another article I wrote. A bewildered nation. A bewildered nation. The connivance of the leadership against his people. You need to also go and read that.
So, Dr. Dayo, are you saying that
when we are talking about leaders, it's not just political leaders, inclusive of traditional, religious, economic leaders. They are all involved in all of these things.
Are you not saying that the powers that be is no longer the local people of Nigeria? Are you alluding to maybe international interference also being part of it?
Not really international interference now. When we're talking about security in Nigeria, if it is, how will a person, an American, be abducted in another country, brought to Nigeria? And then the president of America will say, I need that person within 24 hours. And he put all the machinery in motion. Sincerely now, on the line, sincerely. Was that person not found in Nigeria?
Dr. Dayo, you said something that is quite instructive. You said that the military is doing its best.
Yes.
That probably there are encumbrances here and there.
Sure, and I will explain to you.
Last week, we had the military come out to say, look, there's a new terror group in town, the Perawas, you know.
And you see the way they have been dealing with them too?
Okay.
If they are not been working, how will they know? Okay,
now we also have the same military raise alarm that, oh, look, there's a new online platform that they are using to recruit terrorists.
Is military, the military, are they the one controlling the communication industry? Don't we have the minister in charge of that? The other time, they say, yes, all your lies must be linked to your BVN, must be linked to your
NIN.
Is the military controlling that? No. The people that military, the people that the military had arrested in the past, what has happened to them? After 2 weeks, you have re-energized them. You brought them back to the society.
Exactly my question. Do you think that the military...
Is that the fault of the military?
Dr. Dayo, do you think that the military is overstretched for them to be crying out here and there?
They are being overstretched. They are being overstretched because they are working, but they are not allowing people to see their good works. Listen, people that have gone to the community to maim, to rape, to kill, to commit arson, they are now being arrested. You now say, we have to forgive them. Forgive what? No, forgive what? And you have to bring them back to the society. You think such people, their psychology, the psychology that have been implanted in them for years can be removed within 2 weeks? That was during Buhari's regime. Can be removed within 2 weeks. And you take them to the police station. Before you know it, some guy will be calling here and there. Before they will be released. So are you talking about?
Do you take away
the
the
fault
fact?
of the
Like, do you
military?
take away the fact that there could be an agenda, like Barrister Darlington insinuated?
You know that the way we all look at our different crystal balls, different. I mean, differs. Like during that general election in America, some crystal ball was showing Kamala Harris, while some was showing Donald Trump. And I was here. I put my phone on ground. I looked at everything. I said, no, Donald Trump. Without America, without Trump, there can't be America. You remember?
Yes.
So the way is also seeing his own. That's why I did not toe that is line of
an agenda,
religious tenets.
That is the agenda.
And I decided to come to political and economic. Do you understand? So the issue is this: either we like it or not.
Now let me stay with you on this one. Let me stay with you on this one, Doctor. When the Lakaroas came in, from what we gathered, even though we heard from investigation revealed that they had come before, stayed 6 years ago, actually. They were in Nigeria, but then were convinced to leave, which they did, only to return now. So we heard that when they returned, some individuals within the community welcomed them, embraced them, basically because they felt they meant well. What does that say to perception of security agents, where people welcome non-state actors wielding guns, embrace them, give them water, allow them into the community? What does it say about the minds of the people themselves?
Before they can be accepted, peradventure, they have been deceived. Just like we Africans were being deceived by the missionary towards our colonization before we now open our eyes. At that time, were we not having securities? We were having our own traditional securities. So here also, the security agencies are not likely to know or to have good information if those in charge of our communication, for instance, Niger Comsat, are not also giving adequate surveillance.
What is the role of intelligence when you
That's where I'm going now. Intelligence. Listen.
But we have intelligence departments in the military.
Sir, the intelligence you will gather in this room will not be complete until when the gatesman has also given you a signal as regards some other things. Because you cannot see everywhere at the same time. You don't understand? You cannot see everything at the same time.
How possible?
And that was why Niger Comsat was established. And that was why they always give them money to maintain our satellites in the orbit, to be able to survey whatever is happening within the territorial integrity of Nigeria. Okay, that is one. Two, the police that are also closer to the grassroots, that are closer to the people, that are everywhere. Are they well equipped to get enough information to feed those at the top, even if they get it? To what extent are they being really remunerated?
Okay,
to be able not to take money, from all those people.
That,
there are a lot of things that are wrong that we need to look to
are not getting proper information. We also, how then will the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, talk about military officers selling weapons, stealing and selling weapons to non-state actors, weapons that have been used to perpetrate evil? That's some intelligence. Now, after that intelligence has been revealed, we did not hear of arrest being made. Or are we going to believe that such an intelligence information came out without names of perpetrators?
Two ways I will answer that, sir. Two ways. If truly Nuhu Ribadu has said that, he must have gotten some information before saying that, inclusive of the names of those that are involved. So if he's saying the truth, and he's not just coming to show face, to buga, let him mention those things. That is one. Two, those people that are also selling it, why are they selling it? Have you looked at the social psyche of why they are doing that? Peradventure, because I don't know them. I don't know why they are doing it. But I'm just saying peradventure. Okay. They are not well remunerated.
So we're
and they need to feed. They need to survive.
So we are postulating now. Okay.
They need to survive.
Okay. I'm not going to postulate now. Let's look at facts on ground. Let me come to Barrister. Barrister, the facts on ground is that certain individuals have been, I don't want to use the word co-opted, but certain individuals have been drafted. Yes, I think that's a better word. Drafted into the military. Some of them, repentant terrorists. They've been, de-radicalized and then brought into the military. Could it be that Nigeria in itself has aided these insurgents in continued perpetuation of, insecurity by bringing in some of these individuals into the military, thereby tutoring them on the proper way of militarization?
It is very obvious.
And if that be the case, what then should Nigerians do, or Nigeria?
What you should do is what we are doing now.
Talk about it.
Tell them where their minefields are. Tell them where they are missing it. Tell them what is to come, so that nobody will be taken unawares. Everything we have said about these people is what is happening. I mentioned the religious sentiment, but my colleague here wants to dismiss it. But I will not, because that's the first thing. Every other thing is just, circling around it. But the first thing is religious sentiment. If not, why would a Sheikh Tenshi tell the whole world that Tinubu's wife is an infidel? That God told him that she should be killed. What does that mean? Is that not religious sentiment? Very provocative statement that can cause problem anywhere. No, tell me. Why would an Erufai be telling us he knows them this and that? Yet nobody did anything. All the actions and utterances of these people is centered around religious sentiment. This economic thing is bygone because they are not even better off economically. They are not better off. So it is religious agenda they are pursuing. These people that came in here, didn't you hear? They said they are jihadists from Mali and Niger. Jihadists. What does jihad represent? So whatever we are saying here now, except we remove religious sentiment out of the equation, this thing will never end. Because the people that are funding and fueling it have all religious agenda in their mind. So
in other words, Barrister, you're saying that the people that the Lukarawas who have been with the Nigerian citizens in some parts where they were before they started killing them, that they did not brainwash the people to be with them.
No, they are preaching religious sentiment.
Because I wonder how people will move into a community in drones and
what's it called? Western education, Western civilization is evil. Is that not religious sentiment? Please tell me. It is their agenda, first and foremost. That's even all the people they took over from Africa that was originally Christian community, from Turkey to Iraq to even Libya. Go and check religious sentiment. And I ask myself, all these other places that you have Islamic states, are they better off? Is that not where all these problems are coming from all over the world? Go and check all the Islamic states in the world, always at crisis.
Why do you think so?
And I've said it that the only relative peace we are enjoying today is because of the Christian South.
Why will you say so, Barrister?
Because we are not reacting the way they are reacting. Imagine if a Christian had told Buhari's wife what then she told Tinubu's wife. Imagine.
Barrister Darlington, how far do you think this agenda can succeed? If you look back historically, the jihad stopped somewhere around the middle belt.
And that continued from there.
So, but what I'm saying is that people from the south resisted. They even resisted the white man up until a point that they were overpowered. How far do you think that agenda can thrive at this moment, in this modern time?
Mr. Okoro, what they did not finish in 1804, they want to finish it now.
Exactly what I'm saying. The question I'm asking, how far do you think they can go?
In fact, they have even gone far. Because right now, These people have surrounded all your forests, all your village in Nigeria today. Mention any state where they don't have a foothold in Nigeria. Mention one state.
Ekiti State.
They are there. They are there. Don't deceive.
Are they in the southeast?
They are there.
Are they also in the southeast with ESN also holding way, saying they won't come?
What is ESN fighting? Go to Mbano.
With Amotekun.
No, I'm saying southeast now.
Yeah,
Yes, they are still in Ondo. They are still in Ondo there. They are still. I said, please mention any particular state in Nigeria today that these people don't have a presence. You can't find one. So what are you saying? The bishop they kidnapped somewhere in Abia State. When they came out, they sent them a message that they are waiting for signal to strike, that they have taken over the whole forest. They told us. And you can see it happening on daily basis. The thing is that you and I, we don't even see it as a problem. But it's a very big problem because the North never thought it could happen, but it has happened. Look at the North now. All this is that when we say it, people just dismiss it as nothing. It is going to happen because that's the original agenda. Borota, I told you that this campaign is a 20-year program. 20 years. A chief of army staff told us this before he left office. And since that time, has they let go? No. Every day they keep honing, and working on their plan, and it's working for them. From the military to the leadership of the government, they want to be there so that they can be able to influence the opinion and decision. Is that what is going on? So when people leave the real issue, and they are pursuing what is not, that is what they want to divert your attention. They want you to think that it is this. So meanwhile, they are going this way. It's a deliberate plan.
All right,
why would ordinary Fulani herdsmen all of a sudden, these are people we have been living with?
Barrister, I'll come back to you on this one. I'd like to respond to this one, but let me first take the response of Dr. Dayo. Doctor, yesterday Nigerians were made aware that the president would be traveling to Riyadh, which he did. He has landed in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where he will be talking, giving out Nigeria's position on the Israeli-Hamas crisis and calling for a one-state solution to that crisis, and of course, calling for a ceasefire. Nigeria being part of Nigeria, which according to the constitution is a secular state.
Two-state solution.
Two states of solution. Nigeria being a secular state, is part of the OIC, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and under that umbrella can attend the Arab Islamic Summit in Saudi Arabia. Earlier on the show, we talked about how the president's position buttresses what is going on back home in Nigeria. If he's talking about a two-state solution, what is he saying about agitations back home in Nigeria? Should Nigeria be speaking in that regard, knowing that a lot is being done back home?
Yeah, you see, that's why I talked about walking the talk the other time. You remember again, during the crisis in Niger Republic, it was is he still the chairman of ECOWAS?
He was at the time, he still is.
Okay. At that time, he was newly instituted as the chairman of ECOWAS, and he wanted to do big boy show. I was among those that wrote to him, Mr. Man, let us first of all settle our problem here before you go there. And again, that place you say you want to go and war, do you even understand the problem? Do you know what they are facing with France, who has been their former colonial master? Okay? Now you are going to Hamas, you are going to this, you are going to that. You are not even sorting out. Remember, let me also give you this one for free. Ekpa, leader of IPOB.
Simon Ekpa.
Simon Ekpa.
Prime Minister.
Yes. Congratulated the newly appointed chief of staff to Trump. You know why? Because I read that she was among those that have been negotiating for IPOB, the independent state of Biafra. Okay? Now, Trump is there as the president-elect. When he comes in, is he thinking? I mean, President Tinubu, is he thinking? Is he being proactive in his thinking that relationship between Samuel Ekpa and the newly appointed chief of staff to president-elect, they will not increase that tempo? What is he doing proactively towards that? So my take is this. In Yoruba, they will say, efotele, empalapalapa. How do we say that in English?
I don't know. You left the rashes. You left the cancer.
You are leaving the real thing, and you are following what is inconsequential.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, you need to sit down in your country to sort certain issues. One, that of Biafra. Oduduwa is there. You are not thinking about it. Meanwhile, you are talking about how to bring the whole region together. You know, you just established one ministry now, something integration or whatever.
Regional development.
What are you doing as you get what is happening in your country? Sit down here and sort this. It's not that we want to see you working and stop coming up with policies of assault all of the time.
Barrister, let me throw this question to you as well. Go ahead.
Okay. You see, charity begins at home.
Oh.
The problem at home is man-made, and it is man that will solve it, except they don't want to solve it. For example, everybody from Buhari to Tinubu have told them, release Nnamdi Kanu, whom the court have told you, to let this man go. Is that not a way of solving a problem? You refuse. You feel as if it does not matter. Meanwhile, the problem is festering. Are you telling me that with the continued incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu, his people are going to relax? It's not possible.
Incarcerated upon what?
It's not
upon
possible.
his fundamental human rights.
It's not possible because the court has said it. That is what is breeding the insecurity in the Southeast. Everybody has told Tinubu, release this man. He refused.
So okay. The accusation of Simon Ekpa that the military are the terrorists themselves, or they are the ones aiding and abetting them. Do you think that also is a line? Should he even come up at this point?
It's not even Simon Ekpa. The national secretary of that I told you that the weapons they bought for Nigerian military, they are selling it to terrorists. Is that not true?
Who are the people selling it to the terrorists?
He said
is it you or me?
He mentioned he said the police and the military, they are selling it to terrorists.
All right.
So whether anybody wants to agree or not, state officials are complicit in insecurity in Nigeria.
Barrister Darlington, thank you. I like the fact that I want us to talk about the agenda again and how you think it will succeed. We had a previous government, the Buhari government, that had people at the hierarchy, you know, military hierarchy, the security architecture, all of them were probably Muslims and from the north.
Exactly.
But we have a situation now, we have a new a new president. The chief of army staff is Yoruba, he's Christian. The chief of defense staff is Christian. The chief of naval staff is Igbo, he's Christian. IGP is Yoruba, he's Christian. We have the DSS, you know, Yoruba,
SSS.
From the west, SSS and all of that. So, do you think that these people are able to drive this agenda conclusively, having these other men at the top of our security architecture?
Okoro, there are people that are holding position on behalf of some people. You are just there.
Thank you.
But you are not in control. You can see it all over the place. There are things Tinubu cannot do today, even if you want to do it.
Why so?
The North will shout down at him. I'm telling you, authority.
The North said, don't move CBN, don't move MPA. He did, and nothing happened.
Hold on. Leave all those ones. All those ones are secondary. There are things he cannot do.
They asked him to withdraw the tax reform. He said no.
Listen very well. Okay. These people that you are mentioned now, okay, since they are in charge, what are they doing? Have they done anything significantly against this?
All right, then. Well,
the answer is no.
This will be a good
so
place to
what
anchor
I'm not
the
saying is that
conversation.
forget about the position that some people are
Barrister
holding.
Darlington,
If you reflect in action, I would not take you serious.
Thank you very much for your time on the program. We appreciate you, but we're absolutely out of time. Big thanks also to Dr. Dayo Kayode, who is a socio-political technocrat and aviation safety expert. Well, thank you very much for your time as well.
It's my pleasure. Thanks
you.
for
It's
having
been
me.
interesting talking with you, gentlemen. Well, that's it on the show today. Join us again in about a few minutes. 9 o'clock, newspaper review. Chukuma and I will be going deep into the papers. On behalf of the backroom staff and my colleagues here, Chukuma Okoro, Fina Okechuku, I'm Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful time. Bye for now.